Nice.
What's up, good people of the world? I'm here with Robert Galinski, Splash Painting. Welcome, my friend. Came to lift off, uses drip jobs, uses Lucas with forward media marketing. So he's got some good strongholds in place. What's going on, Robert? Why'd you book the meeting, man? Tell me what's going on in the business.
Well, never did marketing before, and there's kind of a limit to how far, I'm able to go with all the organic stuff. So I decided it was time to get leads. Honestly, didn't have high hopes for Facebook marketing, but there was something about Lucas, his ad that just made me sign up with them.
Sure.
And it was, I couldn't have expected how well it worked. So much so to the point where I can't even find time to get it all done. So I need to work on getting off of the brush, getting
Yeah,
out of the field,
yeah,
and really growing this business
yeah,
to
yeah.
what I imagine it being.
I love that because now you have the hope, man. That's the beauty of getting some marketing in place, man. It's nice when you just give someone else the responsibility to find you leads, right? If we could just get rid of that responsibility, then we can actually focus on building the production. So is it just you right now, Robert, doing the work? I mean, what's going on in your painting
Yeah, it
business?
is just me. I did have a part-time guy that's been helping me for a while, while he's a union guy, so when he's laid off, he's cash helping me out from time to time. A couple of other people just as needed, but that doesn't scale well.
Got it. Robert, why are we not hiring?
It's terrifying. That's why
Terrifying.
we're here.
That's why we're here.
I got to get out of
What,
my
tell
own
me,
way,
tell
to
me
be
what's
honest with you.
terrifying about it, because everyone has a different reason. I mean, some don't like the process of hiring because it's daunting. Some don't like the risk behind bringing in someone that's not a good fit or doesn't have the same standards. Some just don't like to make a mistake and don't want to invest time. Hiring at your level is very intimate. It's not like me. I hire someone, they go work with my team and they report to me. But I went through the stages of I got to bring this person into my world and I'm working next to them for the next however long so this is a big transition for you. Which of those is the most scary?
I guess the scariest part of it is it's probably a toss-up between making sure I can keep someone busy. We've
Okay.
all been there. We've all been told right after we spend all our money on Christmas gifts, hey, there's no more work. I got nothing for you. And that feeling just stuck with me, and
Sure.
I don't ever want to have to do
Yeah.
that. So that's scary. Hopefully everything Lucas is doing
Well,
helps that.
let's
And
stop there because
training.
I don't want to go too far because that's a good one. Because here's the thing, there's only one way through the storm, and it's straight through it. And along comes the risk of dying. I mean, that's it. I mean, and here's the deal. I don't think you're the type of guy that'll let that happen. I use the leverage of employees all the time to get creative. Like you and I both know, if you don't have work next week, no one else is going to know or care, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right. Absolutely.
generally speaking, you're not really activating this motivation that I have every day because I have 13 painters now that need work. So when I'm sitting in my downtime, I'm looking at that schedule and I'm making sure that there's work. And if there's not, I'm getting creative in ways that you don't have to right now. So you need to look at the hire in a different way. The hire in the different way is a catalyst for your growth simply because you now have a dependent. You now have someone you kept the promise to. Let me ask you this. In the last 52 weeks, have you had work?
For the most part, yes.
90% of the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So if you were able to do that for yourself, one other person you're going to be able to make sure has work as long as you're not working, right? So in other words, like you're just replacing yourself. And yes, that comes with making less money. I talked to someone yesterday about wartime and peacetime. You as a business owner, which is a leader of an organization, think of yourself as a leader of a country or a providence, right? There's wartime and there's peacetime. There's wartime where you got to hunker down, you got to strengthen, you got to come together, right? You got to audit your processes and you're going to lose money. So are you okay with losing money during wartime?
Oh, absolutely.
In order to what? Make more money during peacetime because you have
Correct.
better pieces in place, better system. So we need to identify what's wartime for you and what the end goal is. So the first thing is for splash painting, okay? Who do you have in mind for this role? What do you want? Do you want a helper? Or do you want someone to eventually talk to customers, get the jobs done, manage a crew? What are you looking for?
To be honest, I have been on my own for so long, with a little bit of help, that I know how much a solo person, I mean, the job kind of sucks.
Terrible.
Um, it's just not great. So I would like to have someone that knows what they're doing, and then maybe someone that's
A
got a
helper or a
year or
learner?
so under their belt, that can help with that person to ease that stress of,
Got it.
I don't want to be on the job. I want to grow the business, but I also don't want to stick one guy on a full interior
Not
and
going to
have
happen.
him just hate it and walk in a week. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. So you need to understand, you need to be able to be comfortable, and you need to be able to thrive in uncertainty. Okay? Because that's the only way to get to the other side. There's no other way. That's why you're on this call, because it's so hard for many people to do. The uncertainty is going to smack you in the face in terms of who to bring on. Where is this person? Let me tell you something. This person right now, this ideal candidate, is walking, living, and breathing right now. There's a few things that could be happening. He's either on the couch sleeping right now, which probably isn't the case, or he's probably working for someone who doesn't appreciate him or doesn't have a system or a plan for him. And he has a plan for himself, and he feels like the person he works for is stopping him from achieving his goals. Or he's moving into town. Okay? And it's the same thing about those ideal customers that you're going to service between now and the end of the year. They're living and they're breathing. And right now, they're maybe thinking about getting the job done. And they're going to hire you because of the values that you have, your energy when you walk into the door, what you represent. But on the flip side, there's customers that you can't serve. And you know why. You want to tell me?
Well, price
I don't think it's
or
price.
just
It's
out of
because
the
you can't get
scope.
to them.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
customers that
yeah,
would.
there's, you know what? There's that. Now that you mention it, that's a huge issue right now.
Okay, so here's the deal. You're in the middle, and you need to solve two problems. You're solving the problem of the marketplace, who needs a great quality individual that has a great sound operation to be able to produce the projects that they're requesting. And then you have the problem of the labor pool, which is looking for a great business owner to help them achieve their goals, which are goals that you've probably already achieved. Probably a nice place to live, a vehicle, right? And money
Yeah,
coming in
got
every week,
those.
right? The bare minimums. For,
You
for
got
most
it.
people, those bare minimums are far out goals that they're striving to. Now, what is your goal here? Do you want to make a bunch of money, take over the world, and leave everyone in your dust?
Well, that sure is a bonus. I think ultimately, if I really dig deep, I want to give people a place to, I want to give people the feeling I had when I started painting, when I
Okay.
loved what I did, when I
Okay.
worked for these companies, that I felt like a part of a team.
So, what are you scared of?
And
What are you scared of, really? I mean, if that's your intent, if that's truly your intent, don't you think that the world makes room for that? I mean, in your life experience,
yeah,
haven't you noticed that, if that's truly your heart's intent, don't you think opportunities open up for people like that?
I absolutely,
There's got to be something
honest,
there.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay.
I've been struggling with this for the better part of a
Sure.
year,
Sure.
and I
Sure.
just need to get out of my own way,
I don't
and
think
it's
it's that.
difficult.
I don't think it's that. I think what it comes down to is you need a plan. Because if we have a plan, then we just follow the plan. When you don't have a plan, the uncertainty is so big that it's just safer to sit, so we're going to just come up with a plan. And this isn't about, you're not doing anything that hasn't been done, right? This isn't
Right?
like
Yeah, exactly.
you're not trailblazing here. There's a lot of people that have gone through what you're about to go through. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need a plan that fits you, Robert. Okay? Here's the deal. When you think of I need to get out of the brush, you're looking at it wrong. You are not going to get out of the brush right away, brother. You're not, and it's not a good idea. I think you're tied to your business, which is a great thing. I think you're going to be in the brush for another 6 to 8 months, and that's okay. But you just can't be the only one dipping the brush in the can, bro.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's
So
true.
what you need to do is you need to take what you've learned from the last how many years?
Oh, geez, on my own since 2011, doing this
Right.
for about
So you
30
need to
though.
you need to stop trading every minute of your time for money, and instead maybe split that in half and start trading half of your time for money, and the other half you need to trade what you know for money. And that's how you build a team. So what you know is valuable, not so much the trade. Okay, we know that you know probably how to paint, but it's also how to manage people, right? How to help them learn how to talk to people, how to talk to the customer, how to keep them informed. You know, those skill sets,
Yeah.
man, are what's going to build your business. Really, you can get out of the brush, but if you have someone, Robert, that doesn't know how to manage a customer that's on edge or that's angry or that's going through something, that's more stressful than you being in the brush. Okay. Because you have someone else
Yeah.
that control, right? So there's this learning period. So here's the plan. I think I'm going to get you okay if I give you a plan here of action that can help you
Absolutely. Yeah.
take to the next level. First of all, we need to
Certainly.
identify who we're looking for. Who is this person? I want to know what are the characteristics of this individual that you're going to bring into your business, starting with their painting skill set and then some of their characteristics personality wise.
So I guess ideally someone has a little bit idea what they're doing, but more
Spray,
than that
cut, roll. Be
is
specific. The more specific you are, the better. Do they know how to spray? Do they have historical renovation experience, or are they someone that just understands how to work a brush? What is that ideal candidate for you in terms of skill set?
really we focus on interior painting. So yeah, interior cut and roll. Communication skills is
Okay,
very, very good. Punctuality, kind, courteous. You know, if they're going to be in front of customers, they need to treat them with the utmost respect. Um, you know, takes direction. You know, wants to learn, wants to grow. Is a big one. I feel like if you're not looking to grow, then you know that's not a good fit. So I would say that one's probably pretty important. Um,
keep going.
Oh gosh, I I don't really know. This is becoming clear where I'm struggling here. Is I don't
It's
have
just
an
a plan.
idea.
It's okay. So we're looking for an interior painter, somebody that has
Yep.
experience working inside of homes. Great. That's our skill-based qualification. But you mentioned communications, punctuality, being respectful, being able to take directions, and then
Hmm.
has a growth mentality. All of those things there, Robert, can be identified before you even shake hands with this person through the hiring process that you put into place, right? So can't we identify somebody that has good communication based on how quickly they respond to your ad or a question within a form, right? Couldn't we identify that simply by just looking at the vetting process? Or what about punctuality? What if what if you schedule a phone interview and you call and they don't answer when they said they were going to answer? Is that true?
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker there.
That be a deal breaker? What about being respectful? Maybe you get the vibe over the phone that they're not really respectful, or they don't seem excited or respect your authority as a business owner, giving them an opportunity. It's just kind of like a whatever attitude. Or what about directions? Maybe you say, "Hey, after you do this, I need you to go fill out this form." What if they don't fill out the form, right? Or someone that doesn't have a growth mentality. What if on that form of questions that you put together, it's someone that you ask, "What is your motivation?" It's just make money, right? And it's not, hey, I want to get a new house, I want to get a new car, I'm looking for a career. So those are the things that you're scared of, is that you won't find this perfect person. It's just you don't have a vetting process in place. And I'm going to help you with that. But I'm just telling you, let's identify now that that is the person that we're looking for, and that is going to be, I call it your right hand man, or in this case, you're operating the A role, and you're going to train him to be in the A role. A, B, C. This should be a 3-man team running this business right now, just so you can learn the process, right? Because if you can get a 3-man team together on your own without people that you've met in the paint store that you've recruited on your own, you have more power than 90% of the businesses around you, right? This is going to take a year, I think, based off of what you're telling me. But guess what? You put in a good year of putting together a team of 3 and cranking out jobs, it'll all make sense to you, because you're like, okay, I'll just do this again. And maybe someone that works under that person that you bring in, he then becomes the crew leader. And now you're creating an environment of growth, right? But we need to find
Yeah.
that first person. So what are you going to pay them per hour?
Um, I guess depending on skill, anywhere between 20-25, I would say would be
Okay,
where I would
competitive.
start.
$25 an hour. That's competitive. And let me ask you this, Robert. It's a very important question. You don't have to pay anyone right now. Do you have a payroll company set up?
Yeah, we use Gusto. Well, for myself. Yep.
Good. I love that. You're paying yourself through Gusto. Great. So you'll be able to bring them in, set them up, go through the hiring process. You can run a background check through Gusto. I've been doing that recently. I love it. Super easy. You can actually put your employee handbook. So if you decide you want to take it to the next level, make an employee handbook, and they can sign it when you onboard them into Gusto. So phenomenal. So we have $25 an hour. All right. So the next person that we're going to bring in, do they need experience, or are you going to train this person?
If I got someone solid there besides me that has an idea what's going on, then I would be more open to someone with less experience.
So maybe they have an adjacent trade experience and they're a worker.
Exactly.
And you can get away with $17 to $18 an hour for that person. It takes off the pressure, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely work. Like I said, someone that's got, I guess, a will to learn the trade. They don't necessarily need to know how to do it, but they got to have a want to do it, I guess, is that big thing.
Yep.
You know, and kind of been around that, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Maybe a somewhat of an adjacent skill, as you mentioned.
I like lawn care guys, believe it or not. You know, I like those guys. They love that they can come at 8 a.m. They're hustlers, right? I mean, so what I like about this is it opens up your labor pool to infinity. Okay. When you open up the doors to anyone without experience. So the first thing we need is someone with experience. The second thing we should do is get someone without experience, and we're going to train them. So now, if we follow this plan, right? Because the second hire should be easy. That should just be, you're a good kid, come work with us, right? You know what I'm saying, type of thing.
Well, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. You have to be careful with that, depending on how soon you want to move out of the role, because then it'll just be your new guy. We'll call him Joe, and it'll be your apprentice. We'll call him Steve. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you leave, you might want to replace yourself with somebody with painting experience and still have Joe, Bob, and Steve, right? So it's all about how you move these parts around, but it's important. And if you can just get a team of 3, let's break down what that would cost you weekly so you understand. The more we dive into this plan, the more there's no uncertainty, there's more no surprises. And when there's the absence of uncertainty, there's the presence of action. Okay. It's very simple, right? So $25 an hour, 40 hours a week, generally speaking, according to my calculator. That's $1,000 per week. Now, generally speaking, you're going to pay about 20% in what I consider burden. That's all the additional crap that you got to pay, right? Workers' comp, matching taxes, all that stuff. So that's about $1,200 a week to employ someone, okay? Now, our second guy who we're going to bring in at the same time, remember I said we got wartime, we got peacetime, right? It's going to be a lot of expenses coming out right now, okay? It takes time to get it going, okay? 17 times 40, that's $680, Robert. And we're going to do 20% of that. You're looking at about $850 a week. Okay?
Yep.
So 850 plus 1,200, according to my calculator, is about $2,000. Now, you need to understand something. You're going to produce more work at a faster rate with help, right?
Yeah.
$2,000 a week times 4 weeks. That's $8,000 a month. Do you know how much you're selling or producing per month right now?
Yeah, it's probably over 8,000. I did just take a look at it yesterday. I don't have the exact number in front of me.
Okay. That's with one individual busting their tail. Tail. So based off of what my numbers generally add up to, if all 3 of you were working 40 hours a week, because here's the deal, you got to pay yourself too, right? So generally speaking, we'll give you $1,000 a week to occupy the role.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so that's $3,000 a week. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12. You're at $12K. Minimum is what you need to be producing. $12,000, that's a month. Divided by 4, that's $3,000 a week. That means you need to generate $3,000 a week in revenue just to cover your labor. Okay, I think you're going to do more than that. Generally speaking, a team of 3 should be able to do $6,000 to $7,000 a week in painting revenue. That should be your gold star. Okay.
Yep.
Now, based off of my experience, if you're doing $6,000 to $7,000 a week, let's say 6,500 just to make it nice, we're going to multiply that by 4. That means that you should be able to generate $26,000 a month in revenue. Now, based off of that, at a 20% material and paint cost, that's $5,200. So $5,200 subtracted by 26,000, that's going to be $20,000. 2,800. We're going to take away all of our labor costs, which includes paying yourself $1,000 a week, Robert. Okay? Subtracting 12,000 from that. So 20,800 minus 12,000. That means your business should be netting $8,800 after paying you a salary. Okay? Then you have marketing expenses like $3,000, right?
Yep.
That's $5,800. That's net profit, dude. You can do what you want with it.
Yeah.
On top of your salary. But here's the deal. We're not done yet because you need to get out. Now you can replace someone confidently and know, hey, this crew of 3. You got to remember, if you're not painting, you can do something else with your time. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, that's the whole goal here.
That's putting yourself in 2 places at once. And what you do with that time, generally speaking, is going to multiply your income, whether that's being more poised in a sale, being more effective when it comes to creating efficiency in the job flow. Maybe you produce 35,000 in a month with those 3 guys because now you're contributing and now you're making more money with less resources. I mean, there's so many ways to go about this, but the roadmap is, here's the risk, Robert, and let's break this down. You got to understand, if you just hire 2 people, your business can generate $28,000 a month. Right now, you're only generating how much? About 8 to 10 by yourself.
Probably, yeah.
You're exhausted too.
Yes.
Right. So when
absolutely.
you tell me, and I'm just being honest, when you tell me you haven't done this, now we know what's at risk. So when the costs start coming up of this $1,000 a week, 800, you know that, hey, if I could just get these guys optimized, give yourself 90 days. So on that 3rd month, you should have 3 people on every single job every day. And you're going to be able to clean $28,000 a month in revenue. And you're working about you're working about 70% less than what you're doing now. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more motivated. You're probably going to sell more. And then you're going to be excited for building up that second team, dude.
More. That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal, is just keep selling more.
So what do you got? What do you got from that, man? Was that helpful? I mean, outline it like that.
Yeah, that was extremely helpful. I guess I never really sat down and kind of put it together that way. So it certainly is nice to see it like that. You absolutely have to pay if you want to win. I mean, nothing's going to come free. I understand that, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
Well, here's the deal. You bought the marketing, right? So now you have some demand coming your way. If you don't make a move quickly when it comes to hiring, then that was a waste of time. These things need to be done at the same time. I know. They need to be done at the same time. So let's talk about how you're hiring people. What is your process right now for hiring, Robert?
I've got an ad on Indeed, and I think we just put one on ZipRecruiter.
Okay. Have you gotten some applicants yet?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of applicants. That's, I guess, the other part of it. I have no clue what I'm looking at. And I did catch the call yesterday with you, and you actually were talking about this, which was phenomenal. I listened to it on a job, so I didn't actually sit down and detailed look at it.
Lucas put the report in the group chat, so you can rewatch that whole thing with the video. I suggest.
Yeah, and that's coming up right after this.
Good.
But what I learned there is I think I am looking at applicants wrong. So I'm looking at applicants as far as they've started their own business. They did this before. I don't want that because they'll just take my work and leave. And it's probably the wrong way of looking at it. I just think the way I'm looking at the applicants is through the wrong lens, if you will.
Whereas if you don't have that form that I discussed in that meeting? Did you catch me on that form? Were you listening to
Yeah.
that?
Yep. The redirect one. Yeah. And that we do have actually. You mentioned that a number of weeks ago, and we actually took you up on that, and we did
Good,
that as well.
good. And you're getting
So
responses on that form?
I haven't sent that for me. We just started getting all these applicants
Okay.
in.
So
Um.
once you get that form going,
Yep.
right? First of all, we talked about some of the things that were important to you about following directions. Wasn't that one of them? You're going to get
Yeah,
people that
that's
you
a
look
huge
at.
part of that form.
Yeah, it is, because they won't fill it out. I mean, I think I get a 25% fill out rate from people that I look at on Indeed and say, hey, they sound good. I send the message. I know they get alerted. If you're really looking for a job, you're checking Indeed every day.
Correct.
You want
Well,
someone like,
yeah.
that, hey, I would shoot out the form with a lot more leniency than normally I would right now, just so you can start reading responses of people. Even people that you're like, I don't know, send the form. So
Okay.
you can get the experience of reading these responses and trying to make educated decisions before you even pick up the phone. And it
I
depends
agree.
on the quality of those questions. So I would just shoot out the form to like 20 or 30 people, see who fills it out, and then see what responses you get. And then if you like the response, that's when you send an email or you make a phone call.
All
And
right.
then
And
that's
then I can
something you
send right
still need to
through
learn.
Indeed, right? Just message them through Indeed. That's the best way to
Message
do
them
that.
through Indeed, put the link to your form and I would create a template so
Perfect.
you don't have to type it every time. But in the
Yep.
messenger there, you just go, hey, create a template. Hey, this is Robert / painting. The next stage, we reviewed your application. The next stage of our hiring process. They don't need to know that you're a one-man operation. They just need to perceive that you're growing. Every franchise in the history of franchises starts out as a one-man operation in the town that they're working in, right? They just scale fast. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, so you actually just hit on something that made me think. So, when is that? How does that look like if someone applies for you, this big established company, all these processes, a lot of people, someone applies to me, this one man show, who knows how long they're going to be around? How does that dialogue go? How would you bridge that with
Well, let me ask you
a
this.
new hire?
When you go into a customer's house and they get a quote from a franchise and then they get a quote from you, how do you navigate that?
I mean, it doesn't really come up too often, to be honest with you.
Right. So why does it need to come up now?
I guess. It's just all the things I'm worried about. And maybe I'm worrying too much.
Don't worry about it. Who cares? If you have the intent to grow and you're giving someone an opportunity to be a manager and you outline the opportunity. If you're my applicant, let's go through this. It's all about tonality, right? Being enthusiastic and believing in yourself first, Robert. If you don't believe in the vision, that's why we came up with a plan, because now we have a vision. Really, that's what it is. You need to have a vision. You have to be a visionary. You have to see it before it comes to fruition. And you have to see that for other people. In my team, I see things before they even see it for themselves, right? So you need to look someone in the eye and say, listen, my goal in the next 6 months is to completely remove myself from the job. And what I'm looking for is for someone to take over the responsibilities of running the job. What that includes is a salary. Okay? We're going to be growing fast. We're going to be hiring, right? I'm wanting to win this game, and I'm looking for the best of the best. Do you want to be a part of that?
Oh, yeah, nice.
How is that versus, yeah, well, it's just me. We usually paint interior houses, and we're looking to grow, and don't be average. You won't win. You won't.
Yeah.
And it can be here's the deal. The difference between great leaders and ones that are not, or fulfillment of promises, right? So the great leaders pitch the same thing the sucky leaders do, but the great leaders just fulfill the promises. Is that true?
That's true. 100%.
Both of them are selling people on everything, right? But the ones that fulfill the promises are the ones that actually become great leaders. Be a promise fulfiller and find a way. Stop waiting. Stop not taking action, dude. You should be in such a mode that people are like, what the F happened to splash painting here? They're everywhere. And that could just be a mindset shift of what you believe about yourself. Don't ask me for my belief about you. You got to have that. And I know you do. You want to grow. Stop thinking you're just a painter, dude.
Nice. I like it. That's true.
So send the messages, start seeing the replies. Okay. I don't usually do this, but I think you should pick up the phone like on a couple of them and say, hey, this is Robert with Splash Painting. I got your resume. I'd just like to ask you a few questions. Is now a good time for a phone interview? That's how I would approach it, just so you can practice. So tell me about your experience. What's your story? Tell me about you. What are you looking for out of a job? What's your last job like? Are you currently employed? Typically, we call references. What would they say about you? If everything lines up, how soon could you start? Do you like working with a team? Okay, great. I'm going to send you a form. That's part of our hiring process, and our team will take a look at it. And if we decide to move forward, we'll do an in-person interview with you. How's that sound? And you know who the team is that's going to be looking at it?
It's me.
Okay. You're the HR department.
You got it.
Right? You're the HR department. You're the sales manager. You're operations. You're the integrator. You're the head painter. Right? You're everything.
No. But you're 100% right.
But we're not going to live there. No one needs to know that you've been in business for X amount of years. All you need to know is that today is the first day of the Splash Painting enterprise. It's a mindset shift. What if me and you became partners and you hired me as a partner today and you gave me equity in the business? Wouldn't that be a renewal of our business?
Oh, yeah.
100%, right?
Absolutely.
Well, guess what? Hypothetically, just pretend that exists after this coaching call today.
Okay? Nice.
That's all it is. It really is. It's just me giving you advice and saying, hey, you need to do this, 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 and this. Go do it. That's it.
All right.
Go do it and see what happens. And then you know what? Worst case scenario, you hire a complete wacko and he throws paint all over a $50,000 kitchen, right? And he's arguing with his spouse. And then you learn what not to do, right? So that's why we have insurance.
There you go. 100%.
All right, my friend. Is that helpful for you today?
It was very helpful. I really appreciate it.
Good, man. Come back if you want. We'll do another one. Tell me what happens. Love to hear an update. Okay?
Yeah, we'll do the follow-up and tell you how the guys are working out.
Good, man. God bless you and your business, man. Take care.
You too. Thanks a lot, Tanner.